kameo na yema counselor akwaba sonko kra a pre-wedding preparation counselor.
Hello.
Mawakwaba kasa ayefuro bia yefe. But today we are talking about pre-wedding preparation. Counselor Fayeko.
When you are in the days of waiting and you are preparing for the D-Day,
right,
there are sensitive things that are more important to do than your wedding gown.
Okay.
When you are getting prepared for marriage,
okay,
that is pre-wedding preparation. Naturally say, and pempeswa you do a kakrebi. Now where did it could be a week, 2 weeks, a month, or 2 months, or 3 months. Maybe a reaches you do a now.
Right.
When you are getting close to that D-Day, dan one kasa wedding the bebaswa is more than thinking of suits.
Okay.
Why? Because you are halfway into it, and as a matter of fact, you are about to start another journey of your life.
Okay.
Now, the first thing you need to look out for when it comes to pre-wedding preparation is this: knowing each other well.
Right.
You don't pempen so you me you see your boss here be wade. You fear see to toy wade ho nneoma.
Okay.
Ebi kura yakọ counseling na wi.
Okay.
Ebi so afa na ye beko.
Right.
Ti me fa ne say yakọ counseling na wi. You don't pempen so aka na awotwe. Aka bosome na ya wade. Ehọ na me kire wo say make sure you know each other very well, because you see counseling and then going for classes, that is pre-marital counseling or classes, doesn't guarantee that you still know the person.
Right.
Even in marriage, sometimes we wonder the people we are dealing with. How much more when you are about to. So I say that when it comes to the preparation towards marriage, I'm still saying that please make sure you get to know each other very well.
Okay.
Pre-wedding preparation, still know the person well, so that it will be like that. You be day, the man kasa wedding day. Now we will exchange vows, Then he comes up with something that gives you a shock.
Okay.
And until today, as I'm speaking to you, Valerie, people are still shocked in their marriages. Why? Because the people they got married to, it's like they thought they knew them. Woman knew woman. Or why did we know? I still don't know you. Wow, I thought you are like this. I never knew you are like that. So I am saying that pre-wedding preparation, when you are getting close to the marriage, in the period of we are almost there, what do? Still get to know the person well. How do you know somebody? Is to be sure of the somebody. They say in my dealings with Valerie, I think I know her. But when I decide to go to the altar with her, I want to be sure of myself if my decisions are still right. So that I don't enter into it and come back and say, I've regretted. So when we say getting to know someone, we are not saying that you are God. In other words, you will know everything about the person. But at least, are you sure that is exactly the person you want to really settle with?
Okay.
So make sure you know the person well to your side. That means, have I made the right decision? Am I sure of myself? Am I ready to take that journey? Am I very sure? Am I sure? It's not about what people are saying, it's about what I'm convinced of.
Right.
Once I am sure, it means now I know that this person I'm okay with.
Right. In that instance, now everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
We have made the decision.
Yeah.
To say couple, no, whether we like it or yes, there are certain key important people in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that instance, make a decision of knowing the person. Can people walk out there and then when they know that I am not too sure about this person, no matter how many years they have been together?
It is better to walk out than to stay in. Now I'll explain. It is very, very good for you when at a point everybody knows you, but you don't know the person you are getting married to. So everybody around, parents, both sides, but me and me, you need to understand that family begins with us, not with them.
True.
They just come in as witnesses to help us to confirm our vows and the covenant with God. Say but when it comes to the reality, who goes into it? I am me. At the point, if I am not sure of it, you need to walk out.
Okay.
So it will be better for you to save your soul, save your life now, than to go into something that you know is going to kill you. Okay. And so get to know the person. In other words, be convinced and be sure that way in a person. So between the now to the D-Day, when we are to exchange the vow, make sure you are convinced and you know the person well. Number 2, I wrote here, I said, begin praying for your future. Begin to pray for the person you are about to marry. Begin to pray for the two of you. Begin to pray. 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 Because sometimes it looks good on the outward, but when you enter, there can be an attack. When people are getting close to that D-Day, they become more busier. So much that they focus on the material things, the organization. They focus on how to put things together. A garden, a event center, sorry. Because you had deco, because you had obey a dianeno, buffet, they become too busy that they can't spend time to put. And sometimes that is when the battle starts from. So the devil sets in and you are not aware, and you marry and you start encountering problems, and you go like, how? Sister, so then we see that when it is getting to the D-Day, invest in prayer than everything you are looking for.
Okay.
Pray for the husband, or pray for the gentleman who is becoming the husband. Pray for the woman that will become a wife, because it will not be an easy journey without the grace of God.
Most definitely.
The next thing, get to know more of their friends. Get to know more of their friends. And if there is any question to ask, ask now. And so, you are willing to know more about her. Especially, now, push him, push her, get to know more about. See, the kind of friends my husband to be, my wife to be, mingles with, can determine the journey of our marriage. And those who influences us. Because when we say, Ekoba say, Bema enough of being correct. Oba enough of being correct. Now, my young woman, because I have seen in Imbedida, ya wadena assemble no Jandu Komuchea, a futua, Obu de Betuno, actually, the Obeka. Even though we are preparing, getting ready, you still need to understand that I still want to know more about your friends. Because who you work with will determine what you hear. And what you hear will determine how you handle our marriage.
True.
Next one. Whilst you are still preparing, pre-wedding preparation, you are still preparing. Learn yourself whilst you are still waiting. Learn. Learn yourself whilst you are still waiting. Learn yourself whilst. The truth is that, do you know yourself enough? Have you been able to recognize yourself well? Are you sure you are fit? You have enough for the journey? In other words, the fact that everybody is getting married and you think you are of age to get married doesn't make you a good wife, a good husband. Are you well prepared? Are you okay psychologically, mentally, emotionally? Are you well organized? But say, learn yourself whilst you are still waiting. Okay, can I stand his anger? Are you sure? The way the guy is possessive, he's very authoritative. Can I? Why do you need your menya? If I can 1 week, can I? Learn yourself, weigh yourself. If you can go in, if you can't, please, I advise you walk out. So, whilst you are still waiting, pre-wedding preparation, learn yourself whilst you are still waiting.
Okay.
The next thing you need to do when it comes to pre-wedding preparation, communication stars. You need to understand that if you get communication wrong, you are going to bring into your relationship arguments, unnecessary fights and battles that you cannot handle. Now, many what tranche, afiba akum yenumiensa, and ya conclude say yesefata. Ya to toy and your menche ye beware. A ya tranche say, do I understand him well? Do I understand her well? Because in the case of no kaya for him, for her, it is normal. But me receiving it, can I? So, for example, Valerie, Jansem Hununo, and some Hunuwe, Obi Bubefu, and some Hunuwe, Obi Bessery. Now, the communication start says that, are you sure you can understand well how he or she communicates? So, in the period of preparing, that few years, that few months, that few days, please build communication style. Understand the way they communicate very well. So that you don't get offended because akwa no sa na okasa baby a wo firi no sa na okasa no fi so okasa ona ye kan a normal e sa onye se na okasa ona kan so mu na e ho na argument beba fight beba misunderstanding beba. So in the period of waiting when you are getting close to the wedding day, please communication styles. Understand him, understand her. Make sure you are able to absorb the way they communicate, they talk. Other than that, find a way and run away.
All right.
Establish good habits. Establish good habits. Establish good habits. De dani enimi ye ho. Ye ba be wade akakre bi ne ye wade. Na me hwa akoya busa me ho say ne ya because if you are the dross go hi. Am I okay? Don't joke. You see, more chimprano, you can accommodate that lifestyle. Hey, mo wadia. Na kwa ni yene nkwala san be mkwala egu awro mo dross egu abonten. Awro mo peto no mo singlet atutu egu. Wo se ne nkwala ha adwen wo fie. Ukunu so be ye akwala apanin. Awo no so ba, oyi ni singlet anyawo, oyi ni shirt anyawo, oyi ni ribbon adado an chingawo, oyi ni dross ni Brazil. Let's be real. Now, the truth is that you're impressed. Sometimes we're able to accommodate these habits. What can you? And you want to be catching them say, "We krasini ba, we krasini bema." Now you feel what? Anye sa na anye bufu beba. Wedding jibim. Now because me no me hu say me wade wo. Na me nim say na what here and come on wado. It me say establish good habits. Sit and talk about the habits and say, you know what? We are going to get married. I think that these 2, 3, 4 things I never liked. Please, can you change? So, few days to marry, you can still do a good talk about the habits of the person. If you think that they tell you that sana mete, and ya dia message sana untumi ayenja ya, washo unkran jayu. Don't just look at the love and say that I don't care. I don't give a damn. Baby, you are thinking about the family without thinking about yourself. You are the most important person. You need to save your life before you think about your family. Don't go and die, because if you die, the family will cry and bury you. Talk about intimacy very well. You are addicted to sex. Talk about it too. I have seen people cheating. I see people running away from marriages because they cannot handle the speed of the sex from the other party. Obi epemiriketu was sexy. Obi is very slow. Obi are in the rhythm when it comes to sex. Now, if you don't know, and then you enter into the marriage without understanding the love language of the person, in other words, how they want their sex, their intimacy. Now remember that intimacy is also not just about sex. One thing I see, na nipa no ono you be a jack on go to our night. Also one cry no you okay. Then you are cheating on me. In other words, you are not giving me to my satisfaction. I didn't talk about to be showing the no baby. I'm telling I think that you can satisfy me. So I need another woman. So no, me petre. So to me tria. Obi krasu betumi adum pempen so be any wisdom. We be catch us me pesa me fa to count. Untumi a me ko fa another woman because or not there. Talk about intimacy. Me pa cho. Yeah, and you be an epekisu. Or baby you want a baby boy kiss around so me pesa. And yes, sabi room na bomba naturally on pe. Talk about it too. Talk obo so na no mu a. Ocho mi sa odi agode na no be mo anhwere. Afra wa no atafra abodwe. Arengaw. Sa do kisi. Talk about it too. So whilst we are waiting few days, months, years, days to marry, let's talk about intimacy. How do you want your sex? Please, we are about to marry. Okay, your boy your man back. And you buy a bo. Let's sit here and be real. My man not die. Yabo. How many people enter into a relationship and keep themselves for each other? Yabo. Yabo back whom you know. Me pay with sex life. Me pay the way you do sex. Oh, you're too rough. Say ya monso the young body yes yame and ya cry who we need to discuss it.
To talk about
don't be too holy that you will not discuss your sex life, your intimacy life. Because for me, Valerie, if you don't talk about it, and at the end of the day, you enter into it only to know that say neti na enkoya, what do you do? So for me, And say I cry here, but what did I watch it? I watch him, you me and please talk about intimacy.
Okay.
Talk about it. Me messages have been sex.
Okay.
Will be also when your message Quran. Talk about it so that the person will understand you before. Now you remember and say another one more mama near one person because me how cry me pay. Not the problem. Read preparing marriage books. Read preparing marriage books. And when you are reading, read together. Kiebe wadeno. See a baby pizza. Ni we are doing. Scadi bi wa fan to book bi wate. Book a kasafa awade. There are a lot of people on mature books. Book book. Red flags. There are a lot of things a lot of books you can buy. Go purchase. Go to other bookshops. Go and buy books on marriage. Mummy, Tambia Bushia Bia Pine Tambia. We are this week, young pine. We are just put the books down. While we are reading, who reading near share, and these things you do will enhance the marriage. Unfortunately for us, when we want to be medical doctors, we are reading books about it. Mechanics, engineers, lawyers are reading. When we want to enter into something that will sustain us the rest of our lives, we don't want to invest in it. Marriage na yekona yankon ekuramuno yempe bukuton. It was a lot of people will not read books. They don't even remember the last time they read a book. We don't have, but you need to understand that my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
Okay.
Keep an open mind and be flexible. Keep an open mind and be flexible. I can't be now me catch us say the expectation in empena is not the same expectation in marriage.
True.
Okasi obi ntias yeda. Ye wura wade animu a ensachaye beba, ensachaye beba, be ma ni so ye de kakra besesa. Either it changes to be positive or negative, up or down. Get ready. So in other words, you need to be flexible because then you realize that we are human. I need to forgive. I need to let go because this person cannot be as perfect as I knew him or her to be. And the last one. Start adjusting and planning your finances. Determine a budget whilst preparing for marriage. Start adjusting and planning for. Memphis getting now what you. Memphis getting now your buffet. Memphis getting now for instruments. Memphis getting now for high cast me and that could be at $300. $900. Who do you now call car near bedroom? Hey, we show is ye near assassin. That a single room can be to assassin. See, no assassin, you find chairman in the hall at a very good location. Near Statia Brabo Biffy Baby. Me pacho, Yanche Yabawadi, Yabetrasia Boncomo Catch, Yabawadi Sky, Yabawadi. Kajo, I see Yabawadi is 1 billion, 100,000 Ghana, 550,000 Ghana between. She said, you 50 na can the bed and you could see. Yababo, Yababobra, Yabetuquine, Yababi is short, maybe you be too. Let's invest. So then I'm saying that few years, days, months to come, mobile, please talk about adjusting and planning your finances. Men throwing yada bemana say we, now so I say, you baby in a caba, Adi a bemana attended dear buyer, or so what dear Bakuma miss says. My says it, but then I saw Nimians and I or bar, I catch them seven tombo. Mamma me, scanning in another what they will. That's all. That's one. Become a praying husband or a praying wife.
Okay.
Just become.
Okay.
Let it be an attitude, not a suggestion. Become a praying husband and a praying wife. In other words, when all is done and then you are left alone, make sure you are prayerful. So that many of the things that life cannot offer you can look unto God, the author and the finish of your faith. When you are preparing towards marriage, pre-wedding preparation, you need to understand that you need to invest prayer. Apart from the other things I've spoken about.